may be sitting there asking yourself, what is going on here? And what are they doing so close to this tornado? And you would be right, because regardless of how experienced these chasers are, this is a life-threatening situation, being this close to this particular tornado, which was, again, an EF4 with winds of like 170 miles an hour at max.
Oh, look at the little vortices dancing in there. That's crazy. Oh, there's the other.
And then, at the end of that video, the other tornado. So they're in such a dangerous spot right there. So you never want to put yourself in this situation. Be aware of that falling debris. Just don't be that close to the tornado. And here's a quick time lapse of a rain-wrapped tornado, of a nearly stationary tornado back in May of 2013. So a lot of times you won't see a tornado just kind of sitting there. And in this case it was. And then, sure enough, there it goes. Where's the tornado? This is a wedge tornado, and it's gone. But it's still there, and you don't know for sure that it's not going to be moving soon after. Even though it was stationary for a while, it could suddenly start moving and put these chasers at risk. You can see the tour bus showed up after they couldn't see the tornado anymore. That was kind of just spinning in place. And then we move on to safety for spotters for squall lines. And really, I'm going to say this here, we greatly appreciate spotter reports, but, we talked a lot already about the derecho back in August, and we talked a lot about squall lines. They're not really safe to spot necessarily because there isn't a good place to put yourself, where you're not indoors and then providing reports after the fact. And here's a video. I have embedded part of this. This is from the derecho from Cedar Rapids. I'll play about a minute of this, or a little bit less. Just a really incredible video here that shows, there was just a severe thunderstorm warning at this point, but why you should heed these warnings. I mean, just that quick, 100 plus mile an hour winds, you got to be indoors in this case. So, we'll ramp up our wording. We'll ramp up our... Right. So, in this case, you had a. If you're in a high wind situation, keep a firm grip on the wheel, and be alert to possible blowing or falling objects. And for large hail, there really isn't a great. Sometimes you might be caught in a spot where you can't pull over under a overhang or something like that. So if you don't have a better place to go, you're going to want to pull over if it's safe to, and if possible, point your car into the wind, because the most reinforced windows are the front windows, the windshield, and stay in car until that hail ends, And another reason to keep extra supplies in your car is, in case the windshield shatters, you could use blankets or coats to cover yourself. So there you go. And I'll skip through this video in the interest of time. We'll go through here with lightning safety. So just know that it tends to strike the tallest objects, but if you hear thunder, it's close enough to strike. And if you're caught outside and you feel your hair stand on end, run for shelter. And yes, that was a lightning strike, and look what it did to that tree. So, if you're caught in a thunderstorm, and the best thing you can do is get into your vehicle, because it is safe, a closed hardtop metal vehicle. And going back to the safety side of flash flooding, just don't drive through flooded roads and or barriers. If you have to evacuate to higher ground, if a flash flood warning is issued, please do so. And in urban flooding, it can result in rapid flooding of viaducts, very commonly flooded areas, and streets and basements in low-lying or particularly poor drainage areas. And just know that, half of all flash flood-related deaths occur in vehicles. So if you drive into water of unknown depth, that's when you're putting yourself in danger. You usually don't have to fear them unless you are putting yourself in danger. And for nighttime spotting, it's even harder than daytime spotting for obvious reasons, because you can't identify these features. The lightning can sometimes illuminate them, but only briefly. And if you see power flashes, that could actually be an indication of a damaging tornado or damaging winds. The only thing that illuminated that tornado was the power flashes and the lightning. We got a poll question here. I'm running a little bit long, I know, and I want to get to your questions, so I'm going to try to move a little bit quicker here over the next few minutes, but we do have a poll question. And we'll give this one, just about half of people voted so far. We're seeing a strong skew towards lying flat in a ditch or a low spot. So we'll give this one about another 15 seconds before we're closing this out. A lot of you have voted. And sure enough, close this out. Lying flat in a ditch or a low spot. The key thing to remember here is that's the least bad of the options. And we don't condone, trying to outrun the tornado. Have people done it? Are there examples, especially in rural areas? Yes, but being in the area we're at, and just the unpredictable nature of the motion of tornadoes, how they can suddenly change direction and speed, it's still not a safe thing to do. And of course, not underpasses. How about this one? We have another poll right here. The best position to view the wall cloud and possible tornado. And we'll give this one another 15, 20 seconds. All right, I think we close this one out. And the majority said D, using the right-hand rule, and those of you who answered that were correct. So that's the reason is, we talked a lot about the right-hand rule, heavy precip and downdraft to the right, updraft on the left. The left-hand rule is not what we talked about. Southwest and northeast doesn't necessarily mean that in every case because of the differences in storm motions, direction they're moving to. When should you consider postponing mobile spotting? Give this one another about 10 seconds because we're seeing almost unanimous over here. All right, almost everybody got this. All of the above. We appreciate mobile spotting reports. That's sometimes how you got to get out there to them. But these are situations in which, we can't tell you what to do, but we can recommend the most safe thing to do, and that would be strongly considering postponing in these situations. And finally, we'll try to quickly get through the what and how to report, and a couple more poll questions, and then get to some of your questions. Reiterate that, not a marble, because of how marbles vary in size. When a hail grows to the size of a quarter in diameter or larger, that's severe hail. Wind damage, the best way to give a wind speed, if you don't have your own personal weather station or anemometer, is to correlate with wind damage that you observe. The best way to do it is to report observed damage, because wind gust estimates almost